Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us again for another episode of Leading on Monday. My name is Florin Lung, as you know, and today I'm joined by my friend and colleague at Master Leadership, Madalina Guinesco. Welcome, Madalina.
Hello, Florin. Hello, everyone. So happy to be here again.
Yeah, absolutely. And today we're going to talk about a topic that is really intriguing and interesting. We're going to talk about some of the we call them leadership critical, but they're actually business critical secrets that your people would probably not gonna tell you straightforward. So you're gonna have to pick those up by yourself.
Yes, I really enjoyed the topic when we discussed that we are going to talk about this one because from an employee's perspective, of course there are some things that you don't tell your leader, your boss, and I'm very curious from the other side if the leader is not telling is not telling the employees some secrets. So I would like to have another talk with the second topic next time. So I cannot wait for this to put together to find out what are the secrets from each side that people don't tell the other side. So,
Absolutely.
Florin, let's start the discussion. From your perspective, you being a leader, you also being an employee in your career, what are the secret, that leadership critical secrets that you would like to share with us so the leaders will know next time they think about their employees?
Yeah, and I think this kind of topic deserves a little bit of introduction because when we look at communication and our interaction with our teams, in my early career when I started as a leader, I took in interactions and communication with my team very straightforward. So because I had an engineering background, I work with systems and engines and cars. So when you give a command to a car, then if you give that command twice, it will do the same thing twice, right? But when you put people in the same situation twice, most likely you're not going to get the same results. And also, if you put two people in the same situation, then you're probably going to get different results. So for me, you could say that I had a blind spot in communication because I used to communicate very straightforward. And because systems that I work with, they give me immediate feedback. Like if you do something wrong, you immediately realize if your engine works or not, or if the system works or not. And so I was used to have immediate feedback, right? And direct feedback, unfiltered. And when I applied that to people and to my team, of course it didn't work because people were not always open, and for different reasons. And at the beginning I could not pick up those signals. We were in meetings, and one of my colleagues will ask me, Florin, what do you think he want to say by that? And I would say, well, what do you mean? What he said, he said. This is the words that he used. Yeah, but what did maybe there's
Mm-hmm.
something there. And I was completely blind to that, right? So I was, my EQ was really, floor level or maybe underground. So I didn't really pick any of those signals that we're going to talk about today. So when we talk about things that
Mm-hmm.
people do not tell us, is things that people do not tell us directly or straightforward, or they are not, very direct in telling that to us, and they're doing it through different means. They're doing through body language, they're doing it through tone of voice, they're doing it through participating or not participating in activities. So they will leave clues for us, and as leaders we really need to pick up those clues. Like emotional intelligence, EQ, is one of the must have skills for us as a leader. But if we don't, if you are like me and you don't see those, then there will be secrets that your people are not going to tell you.
Mm-hmm. And this is what we would like to cover now, to actually make leaders aware of what people are not telling them. And we can also focus on how to make sure the leader can actually get close to the person, and the person can easily and safely share what they think about a specific situation or share the secret. So it's not only, okay, I know about this secret, usually people is not telling me, but let's actually find out how we can make sure that the people are sharing this kind of important, because you said leadership critical secrets or business critical secrets. So it's important for people to understand the power of them and the implication of it. So Go ahead, Florin. Let's
Yeah.
say what is the number one
So, so,
secret
so
that
the
people
number
don't
one,
do.
yeah. So the number one secret is that people will not tell you when you confuse them. So when you have sat in meetings and if you have presented maybe the vision for the company, if you have presented something and there is no question, there is no comment, there is nothing, there is usually only two situations that could be possible. One is everything was crystal clear, and the other one you completely confuse everyone and no one understood anything, and they don't want to be, they don't want to sound stupid, right? Or that they didn't
Yeah.
understood, and because in that kind of setup, it's very hard for someone to raise their hands, hey, Florin, I really didn't get that.
Mm.
You don't want as an employee to be in that situation, right? So if you're
I
not
think as
careful.
people, I think usually as people, because I've been in that situation, but not only in a business meeting, but also in a training or something. Well, usually I ask questions. When I don't know anything, I ask questions, but I was in the situation where I didn't want to ask a stupid question, like, because I was feeling stupid. Okay, 99% of the room already knows the answer and I don't know the answer, so I might be stupid. But I was in that situation and I didn't know how to handle at the moment. I have a secret, but I will tell you afterwards. So
Yes,
yes, not only with leaders, but also in day-to-day evenings, events like that. It's a problem.
absolutely.
Yeah, we don't want to say to people that I'm confused.
Exactly. So then, okay, so at your, evening gatherings or with friends, well, the implication of you not knowing something about a topic that your friends discuss are not so big, right? So, worst case scenario, they'll maybe laugh if you don't know or whatever, right? But when it comes to business, right? And if you're talking about topics that are important to your business, to your organization, and your people are confused or you have not give them enough clarity and they're not asking because they don't want to ask a stupid question because maybe
Yeah,
you have not made that kind of safe environment for them to feel safe to say, well, I don't know here, I don't know this. Then that's when us leaders we have to read the room and see, are people doing something else what I'm presenting, are people paying attention, are they following, right? So if we're not able to pick those signals from the people, and even in one-on-one meetings, right, if you discuss one-on-one with someone and if you feel and if you're not able to read their body language and the reaction to what you're saying, um, they might not feel comfortable to be open. And if you're not
yeah.
able to pick that up, then you're missing on critical information. So absolutely, if you confuse your team, they're probably not going to be open to share that with you.
You also said about read the room, and I can also say that it's important to actually look in the room, and it's difficult now with the online meetings and when usually people don't share their faces, they don't want to see their faces. It's difficult because you can see the confused, body language, the confused face, like what? So if you just look at the people's faces, you will realize that they are confused. But you need to read the room, and you need to have the special instruments to do that. So you need to be able to actually have a physical or eye to eye contact with people. If not, it's difficult to see if the person, if there is anybody in the room that is confused on the topic.
Yeah,
So
and that will
yeah,
come
maybe
easier.
yeah.
That will come easier for us because we're trained to do that. Like we're public speakers, we're
Oh yes,
trained
yeah,
to
yeah,
read
yeah,
the room, right? But someone
yeah,
which has a team, is a leader, a manager, maybe communication, public speaking is not one of their strengths, so they'll not be able to focus on the topic and on the room at the same time. So I know sometimes it comes easy for us, but not for everyone. So that's why they really need to make sure that they get the feedback that they need from their team, right? Because you know this leads me to number two. Number two would be people might not directly tell you what you could be doing better, right? So one time they don't tell you, if you confuse them and
Yes.
they didn't understood, but also they don't give you that kind of honest feedback, right?
Yeah.
How comfortable are you in telling your manager or your boss that they could be doing something better, right?
I'm not gonna say. This is a secret I don't want to share, but maybe my boss will watch this. Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
but I'm not asking you to say that right now about your
Yeah,
boss,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like
I know,
just
I know.
imagine, how many times we were not comfortable in sharing the honest feedback or say what we think about the presentation or about our manager. Many times we have this idea that, well, I think in this area he or she could have done this better, but how many times do we tell that?
Yeah, yeah. Not only with now I need to think about the other situation, not only in the day-to-day job or in business, but also in our personal relationships with other people. It's okay, you want to say something, but yeah, most definitely the most sensitive one would be the one with your boss. If you have something that you would suggest to improve, definitely people, and I have to admit, I didn't also say to my boss, look, I saw this one and I think it's better if you would do that way, because you cannot say that. This is,
Yeah,
yeah, this is something that maybe we discuss about that one. How can you give a honest feedback, or like a constructive feedback to your manager? Because I also had one situation in one of my games with leadership game. I had a situation with a leader that had the need to have the feedback from people. Not everybody would say, okay, look, you did this wrong, and I would suggest you, from my perspective as an employee, I would suggest you to do it some other way, or what you did at that moment offended me, or didn't make clarity, or whatever. And the I was happy about this leader that actually was aware of these situations, that okay, I'm doing something and I'm not aware of exactly what is the impact upon my people in the team, and I would like a feedback from them, because it's only from my perspective. If they don't come to me to say what is wrong with me, or what is not with me but with what I'm how I'm leading them, then I will keep going with the same interaction over and over again, and it will be frustrating for them to do. So in this situation, we use the leadership game just to make room and create the specific context for them to be able to express. First of all, for the leader to express this to the team. Look, I would like your honest feedback. Come to me, have a chat with me face to face, one on one, on any topic that you would like, because I want to improve. I want to be better in leading this team. I don't want you to be frustrated because you have a problem with what I did and you don't want to talk to me. So it's better to create, because we already talked about that, it's better to create a safe environment where actually the leader is open, and not as being open to actually let the other people share their opinion, their honest opinion. Look, I really want to improve as a leader. I really want to be better at this, because we are here together to collaborate as a team. So if I do something that is wrong, just let me know, because I might not realize. And
yeah,
this is important also for the leader to be aware of that and have this conversation with each individual in the team.
absolutely. And I think you're hitting the nail on its head there, because it's the leader who sets the stage for that kind of conversation. Like we're talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
now leadership critical secrets that your people will not gonna tell you unless you have that kind of attitude that you just share, right? Unless you're open and you ask for feedback, and when you receive that kind of feedback, you receive that feedback with a curiosity mindset. You receive that feedback
yeah.
in order for you to want to you know learn, where is the person coming from, can you share more
Mm-hmm.
of your perspective, right? Rather than say, well, but I've done that because then you kind of start to you're going to start to defend yourself. Why did you
Yeah,
do something that way, right?
yeah,
Yeah, but I done it that way because I have. And then no, that's not the reaction,
That's
because then next time I'm not going to tell you, because you already, I mean,
you
what's the
defended
value?
yourself. Where should I? Yeah.
Exactly. What's the value of feedback if you already know? Then you don't need my feedback, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. Mm,
so that's
very,
why
very important stuff you say. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why as a leader, we really need to be open to that kind of feedback, and require that feedback, and welcome that feedback with a curious, continuous learner mind. And so that will make it easier for our people to share these secrets that otherwise they will not share it.
Yeah. I just came. I have one idea in my head at the moment. So you were talking because I was actually imagining the leader in front of the group, in front of his team, their team. Sorry. Um. Okay. So let's say that you don't get feedback from the team, from people in your team. But what if at some point in one of your teams you will get another leader with you, just to attend the meeting? And
Mm.
at the end of the meeting, ask for a feedback for the other leader, because somebody who is impartial, not the employee and not you as the leader, somebody who is from outside your team will see and will experience way differently the meeting, and it will actually give you an honest opinion. Of course, it's better to find the right leader to be next to you in the meeting, because not every leader can give you honest feedback. But try to find a leader who is somebody you relate to very, very nicely, and they can give you a honest opinion on how did your meeting go with the team. Because then you will find out, okay, what is something that I'm missing, because
Yeah.
people are not telling me, and I'm not aware, but somebody who lies as an observer, they can actually see what's going on there and can give you an honest opinion. This was just an idea that came to my mind at the
Yeah.
moment,
Absolutely.
because I think it's helpful for leaders to know about that. Yeah, I didn't try it,
Uh,
but I will try this.
yeah, if you have the right kind of person that is willing to come into the meeting, and if the team is still open when there is quote unquote an outsider coming into the meeting,
Yeah,
they might put their guards up. But that's definitely something that it's worth trying if you have
yeah,
someone that
yeah.
can be trusted.
Of course, people will put the guards up, but at least if you cannot relate directly with the team, you can at least start with that. Okay, what am I not doing right? From your perspective, from another leader's perspective, because you never know what is there. I actually had the same situation when I'm training, because I really want somebody to be in my trainings from outside, just to
Sure.
as an observer, and see what I'm doing wrong, what did I miss in that training situation. So it's a good idea to try, of course, to adapt it, not to
Absolutely.
use it just like that. But
Yeah.
it's an idea that can be handy.
Absolutely. So that leads us to number three, right? So we discuss about the times that we confuse them and they might not
Yeah,
tell us. We discuss about the times when we require feedback or we expect feedback, but it doesn't come that openly and honestly. And then one of the important things that leaders sometimes are even unaware is that people will not tell us straightforward why they are working with us on this team. What I mean by that, people have different reasons
okay.
why they are in the office, right? Why they chose you as an employer. They might come because of the benefits, the career opportunities, or maybe different reasons. People will come
Yeah,
in your company for different reasons, and some will just come because they need a paycheck and they need to have a job maybe in the same city as their family is, or plenty of different reasons. Challenges are that they will not tell you blindly why they came, just
the
because.
real reason. Yeah.
Yeah, just because it's difficult, it's very sensitive. Like, what would you tell me that if you would know someone on your team doesn't have you know a real kind of they don't identify with the mission of the company, and they just work here because they need a salary for this next 8 months or 10 months. Like, would you see that person the same way you see someone that you know it's invested in the company and that they might be with you in 3-5 years from now? Probably not, right? That would definitely influence unconsciously. Although consciously we
Yeah.
say, well, we of course I'm going to treat them the same and I'm going to treat them equally. Yeah, of course, consciously. But most of the time we run our days unconsciously, and
Yeah.
those beliefs actually, you know, run the way we do business. And think about the uh, promotion opportunities. Would we give them equal promotion opportunities and advancement opportunities, knowing that someone is just there because at this time they need a safe job because something is going on in their private life, or just they just need the money to maybe. I just had a client that realized that one of their employees just was saving money to buy a car, and when
Mhm.
when that didn't happen as fast as they wanted, they look for another job because they could save those money faster at another company. So there was not the
Mhm.
real
Mhm.
buy-in into the company and the job, and the leader was not aware of that. Now when we went through some coaching question, he realized and he saw some of these early signals, but the employee was never honest, because there was risk. Like, what if
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There is,
getting
there is.
I'm being let go tomorrow if I tell this to my manager?
Yeah, 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 yeah. This is related to the unconscious bias that we are talking about in a previous video. So please watch that. It's important to follow what we discussed there with unconscious bias, because you never know when you have one
Absolutely.
because it's unaware. So yes, something like that might be an unconscious bias related to people. And yes, you're right. People don't feel, they don't feel, I don't think they actually say to many people what is the real reason why they are inside the company, why they are following a specific company or a specific job. I don't think people will be open to share this with anybody. Not even with close people. Maybe they don't actually know what is the real reason why they follow. Usually they say money. Usually they
That's the
say
easiest.
money.
That's the easiest
Yeah,
answer, because this
yeah,
is
because
also.
they pay like that.
Yeah. And this is actually a really good point for us to transition to the next one, because the next one is like, so number 3 was why they joined the company, and number 4 will
Yeah.
be why they will quit the company. We're
Wow, yeah.
actually, before why they will quit will be when they're gonna quit.
Oh,
So
okay.
so
Oh, okay.
so when they're gonna quit is actually the next one, number 4. And this is one of those things that we cannot be honest with our leaders. It's almost impossible to tell, our, or if you're a leader, you cannot expect your people to tell you. And I know so many leaders that, they just naively expect that people, well, we discuss, and if they're gonna quit, they're gonna let me know. Oh, sure. How
Yeah,
many months in advance do you want them to let
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like 9 months? Like,
Usually, yeah, usually it's related to contract.
exactly.
We don't
So
say
so
it sooner than that. Yeah.
exactly. So naively, sometimes we expect our people to let us know. And so what we're saying actually here is being able to read those signs, or being able, if we are actually uh, on a trust relationship with our people, we will know a little bit more of what's important to them, and how they spend their life, when they're not at work, and how they spend their weekends and how they spend their money. And those will be indication of things that are important to them. And when we know what is important to them, we're going to be able to connect the vision of the company and the goal of the company with what they want. So this will actually, so we make sure that we know why they are with us, and we make sure that they're getting what they need from the company, right? Because, let's face it, no one works for free unless you're running a nonprofit, right? And even in the nonprofit, is not for free. They might not be compensated
Yeah.
by money, but they might want that to be, something that an achievement on their CV. They might, there are different reasons why people will join a nonprofit. And so if you have that kind of trust relationship, you will be able to know actually what's going on, behind the scenes, and read more of those signals. And you most likely know what's going on in their lives. And when you hear someone that has a family event, maybe they get married, and their spouse is actually living in another city. I mean, wouldn't you ask yourself, okay, so is it likely that they were gonna move, or like maybe just ask some of those questions, which sometimes we're afraid of knowing the answers, right? And we don't, even if we hear one of our employees actually is getting married and starting a family, and the spouse is living in another city, we don't even want to ask that, because we're afraid of the answers. So if we don't do that, of course it will be a secret, and we don't know when they're gonna quit.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a matter of perspective when people should share the secrets, like secrets like this. Why should I, as an employee, share with my boss when I would like to quit? Listen, this is just an hypothetical question. This is related to what I was stating before. Yeah, this is an example that I'm saying, because many people will think about this question. Why should I tell my boss that I want to quit?
That's exactly
this is not something that it will help me. Of course, it won't help me, but it depends on the leader. Why is important for the leader to know if somebody is planning to quit in the next 6 months? For example, not in the next month, because it will be difficult to find somebody else that quickly. It can be done, but it's difficult for HR people usually, because we talked about the HR part in a different video. But yeah, this is some questions. I think the main question to ask when we talk about this kind of secrets: why is it important? Why should I say that to my leader? Because people don't see any benefit to this.
Yeah, that's why it's one of these secrets that they will never gonna tell you, and that's why it's business critical and is leadership critical, and that's why you have to somehow have a way to read between the lines, as we say, right? To read the signs and see the little signs that when I coach leaders through this situation, they say, well, now, because we look back and say, hey, is there anything that is happening in their lives, right? Is there any change? Like, do you know any life events? Maybe something has their situation changed, right? And when we go through that, they say, well, now I remember, like 3 months ago, they said something, but I didn't connect that and I didn't pick that up. And so it's just a matter of us being aware and being very present and with our team, and being able to pick those signals, right? Because otherwise we're never gonna know before. And now if we go to the fifth thing that they will never gonna tell us is why they left, right? So before they will not tell us that they intend to, but then when they leave, we usually run these exit interviews, and sometimes in these exit interviews we either have two situations. Either they give us the easiest way out. They don't want to. They have no interest into telling us what we could do better as a leader or as a company, and so they want just the easy way out. That will be, my spouse moved, and then so I just following him or her, and that's it. There's nothing personal. There's nothing with the company. I just need to move, or they will give you
home.
Exactly. They will give you the money argument. They pay me better somewhere else, right? And so then if they know that this is something that you cannot match, that will be again an easy way out. And sometimes as a leader, if we're content with that answer and we don't dig deeper, then we're never gonna know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I totally agree with you. I think this will imply another video because another other questions rose into my mind, and I would like to continue this conversation.
Absolutely.
But if we have one more minute left, Florin, I would like you to give one important advice to leaders. How can they make this, let's say, beside actually seeing or understanding and feeling the dots of what people are saying, what is another advice that you want to share with leaders to actually see and find out the secrets that people are not telling them?
Yeah. So first of all, is asking ourselves, is there something that our team is not telling us? Like if you just take a pen and paper and reflect a little bit on the situation, like if you look in the past when people, unexpected, maybe when you were surprised by someone's, decision, or someone's reaction, or someone's decision to quit, when you were surprised, and if you look back at some of the things that were happening before that event, can you now pick some signals? Can you see some patterns that you missed in the past, right? And this is kind of the first. This is a reflection exercise for leaders. And secondly, I think there is no other way for us to succeed as leaders without having social skills, people skills, and EQ. So if this cannot come natural to you to be able to read the body language and the things that are not spoken, and if you're not naturally empathic, this is probably a good idea for you to start developing in these areas, right? And there are plenty of courses and materials out there, and I actually share 3 keys that you could develop as a leader on one of my upcoming trainings on this Thursday. But they are things that you could learn. So when you become better as a communicator, more empathic leader, and better at emotional the emotional side of leading, that's when you're going to start picking these signals up, and that's when your intuition is going to tell you that something is not quite right, and they might not be very honest with you. And that's the moment when you could become more curious and understand what's going on behind the scenes.
Good advice, Florin. Yes, I will consider that because I would like to discuss with leaders more about this topic. And you actually rose, like I said, some important stuff that people should understand. And I would like to continue this conversation next time. But this time, I would like to find the secrets from the leader's point of view. What are the secrets that the leader is not sharing with the employee? And then maybe we can actually, because we have these 2 topics in videos with these kind of questions, maybe we can wrap it up a little bit and find some tips and tricks or some good advice that we can do even as employees, even as leaders, to make sure that this information is correctly shared without any how do you say, without any fear, without any the fear that I might have something to something upon me. Yes.
Yeah,
If somebody wants to do some wrong things to my position in the company, even if I'm a leader or an employee. So I would like to continue this conversation next time if
absolutely.
everybody wants to hear about this. Yeah,
I look
so thank you
forward to
Tori,
that.
for sharing.
Yeah, thank you. Really good questions, and I think this is just we just scratched the surface here. But I think I hope it was helpful, and I look forward to to continue this from the leader perspective. What are some things that we cannot expect our leaders to tell us, and how do we deal with that?
Yeah, good. I
All
cannot
right,
wait for next time.
absolutely. Take care. See you next week. Bye
Bye
bye.
everybody.